I thought there was a dramatic effect, but apparently there's a wedding going on. I think so, yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you. Yeah, Guru. Thank you, Satyam. Thank you to Murli for inviting me here. Thanks to Safid and my fellow panelists, Mr. Dr. J. Shanzi and Dr. Srini Raju, is it? Yeah, Dr. Srini Raju, and to all the distinguished time members here, my friends from media. A very good evening, and firstly, I sincerely apologize. In fact, I have one more genuine reason why we should aim at making Hyderabad smart. I was late here because of traffic, obviously. So I think one of the things that we need to figure out with this whole idea of smart cities is traffic. We do know, everyone has been talking about smart cities now. I think starting from all the global big IT players to governments across the world, everybody is talking about smart cities. At this point in time, actually, it has become sort of cliched. When somebody walks into my office these days and says, I have a product which will make your city smart, I'm like, okay, I've heard this before. What do you have now? That's the sort of thing I am now. I'm tired of people talking to me about smart cities. But nevertheless, I think there are three essential ingredients about making a city smart. I think a city is as smart as the people who run it, really, if you think about it. Because the technology is there. I think we have a flat world where, as far as technology goes, we have a flat world where everybody has access to the best technology that there is. Whether you're in the US or in Barcelona or in Hyderabad, I think the technology is there. Now, I guess the question is, how do you put that technology to the best possible use? In fact, recently I had a big, I wouldn't want to name the company, but I had a meeting with a big technology company who are basically into smart cities. We had a day-long session, and we were talking, and then end of the day, they were showing me all sorts of fantastic things that they're doing across the world, and they showed me how they manage traffic, they showed me how they manage the parkings, they also showed me how they manage their dustbins. When the dustbin reaches a sting point or a point where it has to send out a message or a trigger or an alarm, it does. So they were showing me all this fantastic stuff, and I was fascinated, obviously. But then I asked them one naive question. I said, they were showing me this traffic management tool where anybody cutting the line is actually spotted in a camera. Picture is taken, sent to the command control room run by the law and order, and that person is obviously given a ticket or something, right? I asked them, see, that's West, right? People cutting lanes is a taboo, but this is India. We just don't have people cutting lanes. We have people coming right at us, one way, That's the sort of world we live in. I said, do you have technology for India? I mean, it's great that, you have something for America or Barcelona or UK and all. That guy was a little perplexed. He's like, okay, that's something new. I didn't think about that. I said, yes, you're in India. I mean, this is probably the biggest market. I mean, second next to China. And if you're thinking smart cities, and if you're talking, or if you're listening to our Prime Minister talk about it, he's talking 100 smart cities, and each state government is doing its own thing. So how are you, coming up with anything for us? He said, okay, now that is a new case study. We'll think about it and get back to you. So that's the sort of world we live in. See, people have solutions, but they forget to actually tailor-make it, customize it to your requirement. I think that's the key. Technology is there. How do we ensure we in Hyderabad can use it? How do we ensure somebody in Bangalore can use it? How do we ensure somebody in Meerut can use it? That's the challenge now. I guess there is also another challenge. India is a complex country, as we all know. We're not like the West, where everything is structured, streamlined, regulated, and there is a formula for everything. That's not how we live. India is organized chaos, So I think the challenge is bigger here. If you think about it, we have to have two things happening concurrently. One, obviously, the cities that we have, the metropolis. We have the 4 metros, and then we have the cities such as Hyderabad, Bangalore, and then Ahmedabad, etc., which are upcoming, Pune. We need a policy for those. And then on the other hand, there is this project in central government that some of you may be aware of called PURA, P-U-R-A. Basically what it stands for, the abbreviation is basically, if expanded, it stands for providing urban amenities in rural areas. So India being a complex country, we have to do two things simultaneously. On the one hand, we have to look at the possibility of making our cities smart. And on the other hand, you also have to ensure, because the more urbanization that happens, the more challenges you're going to face in cities. So the challenge really is to provide good, make smart and safe cities with the existing cities. At the same time, also concurrently, simultaneously, ensure that you provide the best urban amenities in the rural areas, so you also can stem the flow of people from rural areas to urban towns such as Hyderabad. So that's the challenge we have to talk about also, because from a government's perspective, I think that's a bigger challenge than just making a city smart. And the second thing is, when Satyam was talking, I was thinking, he was talking about how we can harness the potential of solar or the renewable energy, and how we should have solar rooftop panels. I want to ask you one question. I think most of you are from Hyderabad, or all of you are from Hyderabad, right? How many of you actually know that there is a law in our city, Hyderabad, that you have to, if you're building a new house, you have to have a solar panel on your rooftop already? This has been in force for a while. How many of you actually know that? See, I think about 4 people. That's the thing. We have fantastic laws. I think as a country, we have the best constitution ever. We've collated everything that there is in the world, built the best constitution possible. And when it comes to lawmaking, we pass fantastic laws. But then, end of the day, when it actually comes to execution and implementation, that's the challenge for India. Today in Hyderabad, we've had this regulation for over 2 years, that any new construction, be it a commercial property or a residential property, has to generate its own power. But unfortunately, nobody knows about it firstly, and nobody enforces it. That's the second thing. And that's why we have haphazard growth. And I don't want to take I don't want to actually make this political criticism or anything. We've had some gentlemen, claim that they've built high-tech city, which is where we are all right now. But the funny part is, I think Srinivas was telling me last time when we met, we built a high-tech city, but with no sewerage system. That's the sort of world we live in. We only focus on the cosmetics. We only focus on, looking pretty, but then, what is actually required, we forget that. So I think what is more important for a city like India, yes, it is easy to have, some technology guy come in, tell me, you can manage your parking, you can manage your traffic, you can manage your street lights smartly, you can do what Barcelona has done, you can do what anybody else has done. Yes, we can. That's not a problem. Provided we streamline a bit, provided we regulate a bit, provided we adhere to law a bit, and provided we ensure and support our authorities in enforcing the laws that we already have in place, the regulations that we already have in place. So I think all in all, my appeal to all of you, I think we need to spread this even more. In fact, the other thing I also wanted to bring to your attention is, how many of you actually know that the trade establishments in the city are mandated to have CC cameras in their establishments? I think some of you do, thanks. So there are some wonderful laws in place. I think now the idea is really to tie the loose ends. We have all sorts of things happening all over, like we have CC cameras all over the place, some of which are analog, some of which are digital. Now the idea is really the challenge really is to integrate all of these, ensure that that message actually flows back to a command and control room that is seamlessly integrated to the law and order machinery, to ensure that the law and order machinery can actually make some good use, or put that technology or put that data that they're getting, the humongous data that they're getting, to good use, to ensure that our cities are made more safe and more smart. So having said that, we are definitely looking forward to, because I spoke to the Joint Secretary in Delhi as well with regard to the smart cities. I wanted to understand what it is that the Union government is thinking. At this point of time, they have no clue. Even they don't know. I asked them to define smart. I said, what is smart? They had no clue. They said, we are in the process of defining it. We'll come back to you in a couple of weeks. Fantastic. No problems, but I think the challenge is this. For a complex country like India, we need to make our own policy, our own formula to come out and to actually say, that we are a smart and safe city. I think in my book, what a smart city would include is, in my book, a smart city would be a city which takes care of the downtrodden as well in terms of amenities and facilities. We can't just be having the western part of Hyderabad be the smart city and the other part of Hyderabad languish as it is as the old city. We have to have a balance. We have to strike a balance. We need. In fact, our Chief Minister has been talking about a slum-free Hyderabad, a slum-less Hyderabad. I think that's a good move. I think that's a first step in actually in the right direction. We have to ensure that the slum dwellers also are given the confidence that the government will take care of them. We have to ensure that the slum dwellers are also given the confidence that they will be provided with some decent living. We have to ensure that these people who actually have made footpaths their home, they are taken care of. The destitutes who are on the streets, they are taken care of as well. Yes, long way to go before we actually are in the league of a Barcelona or a London or a New York. But I think some first few moves, first few steps are essential, and in that direction we are already thinking. I think you're already aware that we are trying to ensure that Hyderabad becomes the first fully Wi-Fi enabled city in the country. That is something that we are already trying. In fact, in the lines of Barcelona, we are trying to do that. We are trying to do that here as well. One of the service providers actually has come forward, and they have agreed that they will launch their Wi-Fi facility in and around this entire area where Metropolis will be held in the first week of October. And we are working on several other initiatives from information technology front. In fact, this morning Dr. Ranjan and myself, along with our tourism department, have launched another initiative called Happening Hyderabad, which is where we are trying to bring in all the lifestyle and leisure events into one calendar, all being supported or managed or funded partly by the state government as well, including obviously in tandem with the private agencies. So we're trying to do a lot of things to begin with, but talking about smart cities, I think we have a long way to go, but we are waiting for the union government to also expand on what smart is. In the meantime, we will work on ensuring that we build more multi-level parkings. In the meantime, we'll work on building slum rehabilitation for slum dwellers. In the meantime, we'll work on cleaning up our lakes, Hussain Sagar, Usman Sagar and Himayat Sagar. In the meantime, we'll also work on providing the basic amenities to our citizens, which is water, shelter and food. And then we also are concurrently, we are not letting off the aspect of being on the cutting edge of technology. We are trying to do that as well. We will simultaneously also become the first fully Wi-Fi enabled city. We'll simultaneously aim to be the top-notch IT destination in this country. We'll simultaneously also encourage anyone who wants to come forward and say, come up with a new smart initiative where I can actually figure out how long it will take me for me to reach from Hyderabad Golf Club to Hotel Avasa in less than 15 minutes, what is the shortest way possible. And if I have to find a nearby parking spot which is vacant so that I don't keep, circling around. All these technologies are there. So I think the challenge really is to strike a fine balance between, we merely can't be eating the West is what I'm trying to say essentially. We have to strike a balance, we have to find our own formula, and I'm sure with a lot of able people like you in the room and a lot of able panelists out here, we'll find that formula soon, and this government is certainly proactive, certainly in line with the thinking of the union government as well, in trying to ensure that we become a smart city. So I look forward to the day when we can proudly announce and shout from our rooftops right next to our solar panels, standing right next to our solar panels, that we are a smart and safe city. Once again, thank you very much, and I apologize for coming in late. Thanks.